Good morning. Missing. A Yale University student vanishes just days before her wedding. Now her desperate fiancé is helping the FBI with the search.
WHODUNNIT? Andy Warhol portraits of Muhammad Ali, Dorothy Hamill, even O.J. Simpson disappear from a collector's home. Now $1 million reward is up for grabs.
And monster snake, a stunning find in Florida. Imagine seeing this in your neighbor's backyard. Turns out the giant python is a pet, and the owner is fighting to get her back. Today's Saturday, September 12, 2009.
From NBC News, this is Today with Lester Holt and Amy Robach, live from Studio 1A in Rockefeller Plaza.
And welcome to Today on this Saturday morning. I'm Amy Robach.
And I'm Peter Alexander, sitting in today for Lester Holt. He's taking some well-deserved time off. Finally, at the end of the summer, we said, take a weekend.
Good for him, and we're good for us. Thanks for being here with us. We're happy to have you.
Thank you.
Well, it's quite a day here with snakes on the horizon.
Yeah, wait till you see this snake coming up right now. She is 18 feet long, incredibly 400 pounds. She is also a family's pet. Her name is Delilah. She's been living in the backyard of an Orlando, Florida home for years now, though apparently she's been known to escape from her cage. That's where the problem begins. Coming up, we're going to find out what happened when wildlife officials showed up at the house.
All right, plus this has been described as a make-or-break week for President Obama's health care reform plan. And now after his big address to Congress and the controversial response from some critics, the president is hitting the road today trying to gain some momentum and rally the faithful. We'll get all the latest on the president's next steps in just a couple of minutes.
Also coming up this morning, Michael Jackson's sister LaToya speaking out today about her brother's death. What she says Michael's son Prince witnessed the morning his father died. We're also going to hear what Janet Jackson has to say as she prepares for a musical tribute to her brother this weekend, happening just across the street at the VMAs at the Radio City Music Hall.
All right, that is all coming up. But first, President Obama takes his health care message on the road today with a campaign-style rally. NBC's Mike Vaquera is at the White House with more on all of that. Mike, good morning.
Good morning, Amy. After a summer of raucous town halls, congressional infighting, and sinking poll numbers, President Obama is hoping that after that big Wednesday speech, the tide has turned on his health care plan.
Even after some 24 speeches,
the cost of our health care is a threat to our economy.
Town halls and rallies since his summer push for health care reform began, President Obama still had little to show for it from Congress. Then came his Wednesday address.
Would not apply to those who are here illegally.
And Amy, one small sign of progress after struggling with closed-door negotiations all summer long, Democrats in the Senate say they are going to move forward next week with or without Republicans. Amy?
Mike Vaquera, thanks so much. Politico's Mike Allen joins us now from Washington. Mike, good morning.
Good morning, Amy.
Now that we've seen the president speak to Congress, he is taking his message to the masses in Minneapolis to begin. What can we expect to see from the president in terms of style and substance?
Well, this is going to be the fired up, ready to go Barack Obama that we saw on the campaign trail. You know, they have an expression around the West, maximizing the chance that they'll get a Republican or two to help push this ahead.
All right. Mike Allen, thanks so much.
Happy weekend, Amy.
Same to you. And now here's Peter.
Amy, thank you. Friday morning as the nation remembered the terror attacks of September 11th. What was intended as a routine security exercise instead turned into an hour-long scare. NBC's Pete Williams has more on exactly what happened.
For the crews of the U.S. Coast Guard's fast patrol boats, it was a normal day, a routine training drill like this one on the Potomac River between two Washington bridges and not far from the Pentagon, a national airport. As part of the drill, CNN says it would have been irresponsible not to report what it saw and heard. But the whole episode shows that 8 years after the 9/11 attacks, this is still a city on edge. For Today, Pete Williams, NBC News, Washington.
Certainly put a lot of people on edge yesterday. It is 11 minutes past the hour. Time now to check the rest of this morning's headlines.
And for that, we turn to Nora O'Donnell, who's at the news desk. Nora, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Amy. Good morning, Peter. Good morning, everyone. We begin with a multi-million-dollar art heist that sounds like a scene out of a Hollywood movie. Police in California say a collection of Andy Warhol portraits were stolen from the home of a prominent L.A. businessman. A housekeeper at the home of Richard Weissman walked into the dining room and noticed that several Warhol pieces were actually missing. Portraits of sports heroes Muhammad Ali, O.J. Simpson, Jack Nicklaus, Pele, and Chris Evert were among the missing. A $1 million reward is being offered for information leading to the return of those paintings. The FBI is still searching for the missing Yale grad student who was supposed to get married this weekend. Annie Lee, the 24-year-old medical student, was last seen Tuesday at a Yale lab about a mile from the main campus. The university is now offering a $10,000 reward. In Michigan, an anti-abortion activist was shot and killed in front of a high school on Friday. Police say the accused shooter confessed to another killing and had plans to kill a third. NBC's John Yang has more.
Students from Owasso High School were arriving for class when James Pullian, a well-known local anti-abortion activist, the students who witnessed the killing and the community who knew these men are left wondering why. For today, John Yang, NBC News, Owasso, Michigan.
A North Dakota hospital is reviewing policies and security procedures this morning after a mother was sent home with the wrong baby. Staff members at Mercy Medical Center realized the mix-up after an hour, and the mother was quickly reunited with her own newborn baby. All right, the space shuttle has finally touched down in California. Discovery landed Friday night after diverting to Edwards Air Force Base because of some stormy weather in Florida. The landing caps Discovery's 2-week mission to the International Space Station, where astronauts delivered supplies and some other equipment. And finally, put it in the books. Team captain Derek Jeter broke Lou Gehrig's record of most hits at Yankee Stadium with 2,722 hits. Jeter's single came in the third inning against the Baltimore Orioles, and as soon as Jeter got to first base, the whole team ran out to congratulate him. Gehrig's record was held for more than 70 years. And that's the news. Now back to Amy, Peter, and Bill. Of course, the Yankees ended up losing the game.
But, you know, the story is the Jeter story.
Right. Where's everyone's pinstripes? I'm wearing mine.
Oh, well.
Yeah, not Yankees folks, I fear.
All right, thank you. That was aptly put. All right.
I mean, we're going to lay it out there. Cubs fan, we stink. What can I say? Bill Caron's here with a look at the forecast. It went from summer to fall pretty quick in New York, at least.
It went soggy just about everywhere, too. I mean, it is really wet from the northeast today with the showers, especially down there in Texas. That's where we're seeing the worst of the weather. We have flood watches in effect from Oklahoma all through Texas, including the New Orleans area. We're getting a drenching today, and it's going to continue as we go throughout this weekend. The good news, that's where the worst drought is, especially in southern Texas. So we're getting the rain where we need it today, although it's going to ruin your Saturday. That's a look at your national forecast. Now here's a look at the weather outside your window. That's a look at your weekend forecast. Amy?
Bill, thank you. It has been 1 year since Galveston, Texas took a direct hit from Hurricane Ike. It was the third most destructive hurricane to ever make landfall in the United States, causing more than 100 deaths and nearly $13 billion in damage. And for Galveston, it's been a tough year of trying to get back to normal. NBC's Janet Chamblian has a progress report.
When Hurricane Ike stormed Galveston a year ago today, it tore up the town.
Huge amounts of debris.
But couldn't break its spirit.
Right now, it feels like it's about 5 years. It's
Diana Olick, CNBC, Washington.
Fixer-upper, $300,000, living next to the Obamas, priceless. They bought the home for $35,000 back in 1973. We're going to be right back, but first, this is Today on NBC.
Sunday morning on Weekend Today in New York.
Fashion Week in the city, how the American man is getting more savvy. Plus, Broadway on Broadway makes a stop in our studio, a live performance from the hit show Next to Normal.
Weekend Today in New York, Sunday.
The nation marked the 8th anniversary of the September 11th attacks Friday in a new way by making 9/11 a national day of service. NBC's Kevin Tipples has the story.
Study hard, okay? On a damp, somber morning, 100 rays of hope.
These guys are the best guys that ever happened to this school.
These guys are members of the 100 Black Men organization.
Did you do your homework last night?
Volunteering to mentor boys, some of whom may not have a dad, at Atlanta's best academy.
I do this every day because
Chicago.
And still to come on today, all the latest on swine flu fears and the weapon to fight it.
Plus, Michael Jackson's sisters speak out about their brother's death, what they said coming up. But first, these messages.
Live from Studio 7E in Rockefeller Center, this is News 4 New York.
7:26 on a Saturday morning. It's 64 degrees. It's very cool out. It's going to be kind of a wet day. I'll let John tell you about that. It's the 12th of September, and I'm Pat Battle. In the news this morning, complications related to the swine flu are being blamed for the death of a Cornell University student from Dutchess County. 20-year-old Warren Shore was from Clinton Corners, New York. No word yet on whether he had underlying health conditions that put him at greater risk. And a Long Island Railroad engineer accused of letting a passenger operate a train has now been fired. Ronald Cabrera allegedly let that passenger get behind the controls back in July on a train that was carrying 400 commuters. Both he and the passenger have pleaded not guilty to reckless endangerment charges. And the Yankees have a new all-time hit leader this morning. Derek Jeter broke Lou Gehrig's team record last night. He now has 2,723 hits, 2 more than Gehrig had in his Hall of Fame career. Unfortunately, though, the Yanks lost that game to Baltimore 10-4. Still, Jeter has a long way to go if he wants to set the major league hit record. He's currently 1,533 hits behind all-time leader Pete Rose. And here to tell us whether the rain is going to hold up all day, John.
Yeah, you know what? Not as bad as yesterday, Pat.
Oh,
it's not going to be as heavy. The wind isn't going to be as brisk, but the temperature is still cool, and it's still going to be damp with occasional showers. We got some scattered showers out there right now, but tomorrow, definitely the better day of the weekend. Up to 80, we pop. What a difference. And then Monday, hey, summer hangs on, 81 degrees, yes, and that fine September weather is back Tuesday through Thursday with temperatures falling through the 70s. Not a bad forecast.
Not bad at all. Not bad at all. Thanks, John. And coming up at 9 on Weekend Today, New York Produce Pete's got some sweet fruit that's perfect for the Jewish New Year or any other occasion. Right now, let's go back to the Today Show.